Hello everyone, so in this video I'm going to do a couple of things. Well, first of all, I will do sort of a species profile on my Hypancistrus L236 super whites, and I will also do some testing of a new kit on this tank. I will be testing this airstone. Well, I know testing airstone is probably nothing particularly interesting, but hopefully this will be an interesting product, and I will also explain why I'm using airstones in my fish tanks. Let's get started here. This is quite a typical breeding setup in my fish room. I have quite a few of similar setups in here. So this is about 80-liter tank. It has a group of 4 Hypancistrus L236 super whites. You can see one of the males popping up. He is actually normally really outgoing, but he is camera shy as always. Well, this is definitely not a dominant male. My dominant male is hiding in that cave over there. I will try to make some footage of him a bit later if that works. I have apparently 3 males and 1 female in here, and female is hiding somewhere in between the rocks, like in here. Well, so what do I have in this tank? I have a sponge filter, I have an airstone. When it comes to biological filtration, I know a lot of people will constantly argue about the difference between mechanical and biological filtration. I have here a mesh bag with some bi-rings. I think these are fluval bi-rings. They are right under the flow from a sponge filter, so there is a lot of current, lots of oxygen, and this is what beneficial bacteria need, aerobic bacteria need. And over there I have another mesh bag with biological media. I also have quite a few lava rocks in here and pieces of alpha grog, which also hopefully provide some sufficient space for beneficial bacteria to colonize. Apart from that, this is bare bottom tank, quite a few pleco caves and lots of slate rock, most of it just collected from different places. Well, so I also have a heater in here. So basically that's it. Well, when it comes to L236 super whites, they are a bit of a mystery fish. They don't really exist apparently in the wild, at least not in this form. First L236 were imported to Germany in the 1980s, apparently from Rio Iriri, but ever since there were multiple collection attempts at Rio Iriri, but they didn't find any Hypancistrus, so I guess it didn't exist there in the first place. And all of the L236, whether you have RB Basics variant or super white variant, which is what I have in here, they're all tank bred. They're basically line bred, and there are different grades and different gradients of quality of this fish. So normally the thinner are the black stripes or black spots, the higher is the quality. So the fewer black areas on fish are considered to be higher grade and higher quality. So I have something of I would say definitely not top quality, but something of an average, probably closer to higher quality, because this is a relatively good quality line. It's a Belgian line, and more recently, last year, L236 have been described as Hypancistrus sideli, basically a color variant of Hypancistrus sideli, essentially the same fish as L333 King Tiger pleco. In here I have my breeding group of L333, so apparently they are the same species as L236, and I guess at that point the mystery is solved. It's definitely no longer an unknown species, and the first sort of a type locality of this fish probably was a slightly different color variant of L333, which was later line bred into L236 super whites. So nevertheless, I do like this fish more than I like L333 actually, because they're a bit more outgoing. Not at this moment, because they're quite camera shy and they obviously not used to me pointing my phone at them, so they're a bit shy now, but generally they are quite outgoing. You can see this male popping up out of his cave, potentially very inquisitive. If I wasn't filming him, he would probably be sort of crawling around the caves and the rock work and being more active. Whereas L333 are normally hiding in their caves most of the time, and I rarely ever see them at all. So that's a brief species spotlight, and now we're going to do a bit of a kit testing on this tank. Well, this is a sponsored video. I have been provided with this airstone for free. This is a hygger airstone, and I've never had anything like that before. I never had any sort of say fancy airstones before. Normally I use this sort of airstones in all of my fish tanks. They are kind of well, they're obviously no brand airstones, and I buy them in kind of in bulk, but they're not the cheapest ones, but they're obviously not high-end either. And the main problem with these airstones is that over time, literally in my tanks, after about a couple of months, they start falling apart. Yeah, you can see that they start first falling apart on edges, then they become really sandy, and the process of their decomposition begins. They would be really soft, and over time there's not much left of them. I'm really hoping that this would be a game changer for me. So let's get it opened. I will leave a link to this product in the video description. It comes with some lengths of airline tubing, which is quite handy. I don't really need it, but it's quite handy. It comes with well, with connectors, with control valve, and with return valve. Also, I don't really need these things at the moment. It comes with a suction sponge, which is quite handy. You can actually use it to connect your airline tubing. And the airstone itself is actually quite small, so I thought it will be a bit bigger. It feels like a relatively high quality airstone. It has hygger written on it, which is fair enough, but probably I would rather prefer nothing written on it, but I don't think it will be visible from this angle. What I like about it is that it has this connection on top, because quite a lot of these circular airstones have connections on sides, which is not very convenient. If you connect your airline tube on site, it will always be sort of in this position. It is also quite heavy. I'm wondering, it sounds like metal, to be honest, so I'm sure it will go down quite fast to the bottom. And yeah, let's have it tested. So let's get this out. Yeah, this is a typical airstone I would use. It's not looking very good at this point. Well, one thing I realized when I tried to connect it is that my airline tube is actually far too tight for this. So probably I should have used the one that is supplied with this product, but well, I did fit it. So let's give it a try. Oh, that's quite powerful. I will not keep it in this position. I will keep it in the back of the tank, so it provides all the airflow for my biological media. But I can see that it's really high flow, high sort of high output airstone. It actually provides more bubbles and more flow than my previous airstone, than this one. So yeah, looking great actually. The bubbles are relatively large. I guess obviously it comes with all the control valves, so if you need a control valve, you could reduce the flow. I'm just squeezing airline pipe right now, and you can see that it looks quite nice even if you reduce the flow. So yeah, really beautiful and quite sleek, and I seem to be quite happy with it for now. I will keep you updated eventually on how it does over time, and I honestly don't expect any significant issues with it because it looks like a high quality product. Well, I hope this video was useful. So if you need a high quality airstone and something that looks really nice, I would definitely recommend this product. For me, I definitely need lots of oxygen in my L number plex fish tanks because I keep temperature relatively high in here. It's about 30 degrees Celsius, so the more oxygen I provide, the better. And this is certainly an upgrade to this airstone because obviously very different quality, and yeah, very satisfied.